Welcome back to Surreal Beauty. So excited. Guys, I really want to share with you how important it is for me to share positivity, strength, and embrace how embracing like one's self, how much I'm so passionate with sharing that with you all, sharing about how I was able to be in the lowest of the lows in life and be able to get out of it victoriously. These messages, I really do hope that it inspires, if not every or all that I am able to cross paths with, but at least one. Because I'm telling you, I grew up feeling so unworthy, so powerless, right? And not having any type of strength. And I don't mean physical strength, I mean inner strength, the will to fight, to believe, to love. I was stunted. My growth was stunted in those areas. And growing up, when you, let's say, grow up in poverty, right? The environment that you're in definitely impacts and influences the way you feel about yourself, how you think about yourself, the decisions you make in life. And so growing up, not having much, growing up with lack, having to struggle, paycheck to paycheck, barely making it. And again, this is obviously, you're living with your family and things like that, single parent household. That's the nature of the environment that I grew up in. And how much of a struggle it has been to mentally fight off the trauma, because this is the thing. I definitely can see like someone making it out, let's say, making it out the hood. You get out of that situation, because that was the case with me. Thankfully, I was able to do sports, right? And I was able to leave that environment and be able to excel and accelerate into a lifestyle, into a world that allowed me to just thrive and everything like that, right? And then what I realized when I got to that side of things, mentally, I was still stuck in all of the toxic mentality and way of thinking and being. And so even when I did make it across to that lane, it was still a fight. It was still a fight. I mean, I've had moments where I've been like top in the country when I was doing sports, and even then I was still battling. I was not happy. I was still anxious, paranoid. Like what was it gonna take? Like, why was it that even in those pinnacle high moments, those peak moments, I was still sad? And it was because I had a lot of inner trauma, unhealed, voided areas within me that weren't dealt with. And so while the environment that I was in was new and it was different, it was a positive one, I still was holding on to the negativity, dwelling in that. And so it's like, what did it take for me to actually graduate from that way of thinking? And it was self-love. It was pouring into myself. But first it was learning. And truly, guys, when I say it's as simple as taking that step back, looking in the mirror, reflecting, what is it that's holding you back, holding me? Like what? I had to really have that real conversation with myself, because like some of you all as well, like we have this need to want to be successful. We have this desire for greatness, and that's subjective, because what success may mean to me and what it may be for me will definitely be different for the next person, and that is okay, right? So what like in that moment of despair and I don't know what's going on, what am I gonna do? It was that moment of reality of like, what is it gonna be? What is it that like, these are the questions I was asking myself. What is it that's making me so afraid? Right? I'm crying as this phase of my life was happening, because I was just so afraid. I was so afraid because of insecurity. Insecurity as far as like, will I be able to, it was like this, like, let's say if I was granted money and, you move into a new place, right? Good situation. But then you're in a situation like, what if I lose it? What if I lose it? Right? So it's that poverty lack mindset that still was following me. And even though I was in like the green, the clear, everything's great, it was still there. And so I had to just be real with myself. And what it really came down to was having to write it down. It's so empowering to write down your thoughts, your feelings, because your brain remembers it more. It's just so much more powerful. I learned it in school. I remember a teacher telling me, when you write things down, you remember it more. You remember it better. It sticks into your mind much more clearly. Listen, don't ask me. I don't know. However, that saying was very true because I took the time to write down what my fears are, right? And I also share this a lot of what I did in these steps in my ebook. It's slipping my mind right now, but I'll put it in the link below in the description box because it's an ebook that I have on my website. But anyways, I had to do step by step. What am I afraid of? And I had to write it down. Everything that I was afraid of, so I can see it on paper, right? So when I got to that point, I'm looking like, okay. And you know what's crazy? When you actually start to look at what you're afraid of, when you see it, because when it's all in your mind, it's all cluttered, it's all jib-jab. But when you write it down and you see it, it's like, okay. And then almost you kind of tell yourself, is that really what I'm afraid of? It's not really that bad, right? So now as I'm writing and going through these things, now I'm going through each of them. Okay, just confronting each and every one of them. What is so each fear, right? So it's like the first one. What is it about this fear that's holding me back? What is the underlying thoughts, the triggers? What is the root cause of this fear? So now you got to take a step even further back. And then you start to realize, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? This is where this is coming from, or this happened to me when I was younger. This is why I'm holding on to this. And again, it takes time. This is all a practice. Sometimes this could take years. You know what I'm saying? When you think about it, sometimes we have layers. We got 10, 15, 20 years of layers of unhealed trauma. And so I think it's important, while we understand that it's our duty for our healing, it's also important for us to understand and know that it will take time. You know what I'm saying? Healing is not a linear phase. It is like one of those things, right? So that's what it takes. We just take that step one, right? We gotta, what is it? What is the fear? And then we gotta confront it. And then when we confront it, we have to deal with what is lingering on in us, so that we can just take the time to detox, purge, remove all of those things, right? We want to get all of those things out. And so there's different methods of doing it, different ways, from meditation, nature, therapy, all different types of things. But one of the biggest things that I feel like was super impactful was meditating, pondering and looking at, what is really bothering me? What is, you know what I'm saying? And once I really got to the bottom of it, I realized that a lot of the things that I was afraid of wasn't true and it wasn't real. These are thoughts that I just somehow held on to, made up. Someone else probably put it into my mind, or, I just assumed the fears and traumas of, let's say, my mom and others in my family or around me, thinking that that's just me. So it took a lot of time to wake up and see, like, okay, I may be a victim in this situation. I may have grown up in this. I may not have been able to choose the family and the upbringing that I have. No, right? But now there's so much power in learning, really knowing and believing that you have the power to control, to change, to rewrite and flip the script of your life, right? You can do that. You are powerful enough to do that. You have the tools within you to do it. Some of us just need help accessing those tools, right? So as I've just learned on my journey moving forward and moving on in life, we have the power. I post this thing on my social medias, You Are the Key. And I actually took that photo when I was traveling on the West Coast because I saw it and it really touched me. You are the key. That really speaks to the power that we have, that we possess as humans. We hold it. Whatever it is that we need to free us, it's whatever's holding us, keeping us in bondage, whatever trauma, it is also in us beyond that to deliver, to be free. Yes, some of us may need some help, some assistance. I'm not denying that. And at the same time, I'm saying the power, the force is in us, it's within us, and we don't really have to look or seek outside powers or seek outside forces. The holy divine force does reside in us. And that was the powerful truth I discovered as I've been on my journey. And I'm here to share with you guys through all these blogs. I put out blogs, making videos to share this message. I have books, ebooks, journals, all different types of things. To share this message, to share this self-discovery, self-healing. As we look into the world today, it's a lot of need for self-love, right? A lot of need for it. And so I'm super excited to share my piece on how I was able to get to this point of loving myself. What does it mean? What are things that you need to do to really show yourself that love? And once you really start doing that, you start blooming like a beautiful flower, and people are just like, people will see it, and it's a beautiful thing. And so guys, I'm super excited to share this. And yes, there is power in writing things down. There is power in journaling. There is power in meditating. True power. If you want it, you can have it. Until next time.